Hello everyone, present here virtually. I am Sakshi here and I welcome you all for today's session which is titled as PoSH Awareness Program. And presenting this session we have with us our today's expert Dr. Kokila Saxena. Dr. Kokila Saxena is an assistant professor in a management study JSS Academy of Technical Education, Noida. She is having 25 years of working experience. Her credentials area BSc, LLB, MBA, MPhil, Management, and a PhD in Industrial Relations. She is having 2 years of experience in a criminal lawyer. 3 research scholars are doing PhD under her guidance. She has published various research papers in a Scopus Index journal. She has 2 patents published in her name. She is a certified HR generalist, certified PoSH practitioner and trainer, certified emotional intelligence trainer, and a certified HR analysis. She has undertaken various consultancy. Her area of interest are corporate law, business law, industrial relations, and labor law, strategy, HRM, leadership, motivation, international law, and politics, etc. You may start now, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sakshi, for having me here and for introducing me all of them extensively. So thank you so much. Now I'll be sharing one short movie on PoSH, and then we'll proceed with the hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just a moment. I'm sharing the.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it audible? Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
चाय कम होती जा रही है विशु।
अरे क्या सिंह साहब आप भी
बहुत बदन दर्द कर रहा है, कोई बादाम की दूध पिला दे।
साले तुम्हारे सही है, बीवी बच्चे घर पे, खुद वहाँ सपना होटल में मजे ले रहे हो।
आप ही ने दिया था भैया।
हाँ पर हम तो यहाँ सूखे बैठे, तुम तो वहाँ कुएं में डुबकी मार रहे हो।
अपनी मडोना को लेके आ जाओ यहाँ पे।
अरे कहाँ, 10 साल की बेटी का बापू।
हाँ जी हाँ, वैसे ये होटल वाले बोल रहे थे किसी की हरी चड्डी छूट गई यहाँ पे।
अरे भागो तुम, बदतमीज। चलो रखो, काम है हमें।
अरे सुनिए तो।
अभिषु
जी सर।
अपनी मडोना पूरा सर।
जी मीनाक्षी मैडम।
हाँ।
शर्मा।
हाँ सर।
अरे वो अग्रवाल क्रशर का क्या हुआ?
सर मैंने कल आपको फाइल दी तो थी।
अच्छा, तो देखो यहीं रखी होगी। हाँ बैठो।
नहीं सर, ठीक है। सर ये
क्या लगा के हो, महक जा रही हो?
सर ये जो रिन्यूअल पेपर्स हैं इसमें दोनों पार्टनर्स के नाम हैं और नीचे सिग्नेचर्स भी हैं। ये सतीश अग्रवाल, ये सुधांशु। ये फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट का अप्रूवल और ये पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड के पेपर्स। सर प्रॉब्लम हो रही है कि सतीश अग्रवाल अभी साइन करने से क्या हुआ सर?
क्या
आप कुछ देख रहे हैं?
मतलब?
मेरे बूब्स देख रहे हैं? अरे तो देखिए ना अच्छे से, ये देखिए।
ए, नाटक बंद कर।
अरे नहीं सच में सर। वैसे भी आप आधे टाइम तो मुझे देखने के लिए ही बुलाते हैं, तो एक बार अच्छे से देख डालिए। ये
फिर बहुत पछताएगी तू।
अरे सर सीरियसली, अच्छा मैं ये उतार देती हूँ, है ना?
क्या कर रही हो? सब लोग
अरे
देख रहे हैं।
तो देखने दीजिए ना, मेरे पास कुछ स्पेशल नहीं है, सेम ही होता है सबका। हाँ बस साइज थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे होता है बस। वैसे भाभी जी का क्या साइज होगा? 34 ना, या 36? आपको तो पता ही होगा सर।
आई एम सॉरी, प्लीज बैठो तुम।
नहीं माना मेरी स्किन थोड़ी मुलायम है, लेकिन मलाई थोड़ी ना है सर कि जब आपका मन चाहा आपने चम्मच डुबाया और चाट लिया। अरे शर्मा जी तो शर्मा गए। सर आपके डर से तो मैंने स्लीवलेस पहनना भी छोड़ दिया है।
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the PPT visible?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So, as we have gone through the video, I hope you all understand the efficacy of prevention of sexual harassment at workplace, the act. So basically, when we talk about any law, this law is women centric. As we can see, this law ensures various articles, various fundamental rights, such as if we talk about Article 14, which guarantees equality before law, Article 15, which prohibits discrimination against any citizen on ground of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, as well as if we talk about Article 21, it says about, it guarantees all the people shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty except according to procedure established by the law. So, if we talk about all the legal aspect, or if we talk about our fundamental rights, we can say that we, as a women workers, we do have certain rights now. Previously, we were not having any such kind of a law to protect the women workers at the workplace. So, if we talk about sexual harassment, it is not a women's thing. It's a passing fad, something to joke about, or something to be ignored, or a cause of paranoia and fear. It's a legal requirement to prevent, prohibit, and address the issue at workplace. Basically, what we do is we can see that there is different kinds of sexual harassment at workplaces, such as people are passing loose comments. They are passing comments on the character of women workers, right? They are passing on their dresses, passing comments on their dresses, right? Their body language, or way of their sitting, way of seeing. These all comes under sexual harassment. So today we will discuss about what all about sexual harassment is, and how sexual harassment, Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act started, right? And what are the implications of this act? So this act has started uh, from from an incident taken place in Rajasthan, where one Bhavri Devi, she was a Dalit woman and she was working as in a self-help group. Okay? And what she was doing is she is creating awareness about the rights of women workers or awareness about the, I mean, जो राजस्थान में जो बाल विवाह होता है या भ्रूण हत्या होती है, right, उसके against she was creating awareness, and she was affiliated with one NGO there, right? So she was residing in the village Bhateri in the Rajasthan, and Bhamri Devi continues to be obstaculized by her village. She lives on the outskirts of the village Bhateri, just 55 kilometers from Jaipur, with her husband, who supported her fight throughout. She now runs a self-help group with other women from her community and works with an NGO to support her family. She was a winner of Nirja Bhanot Memorial Award for her extraordinary courage, conviction, and commitment. So basically, what happened was, when she was working with the NGO, she used to spread awareness among the people related to child marriage or bhroon hatya, like kind of things which are very common in Rajasthan. So people there, they thought we should obstruct Bhamri Devi from doing all these kind of awareness. So what they thought is that she should be raped to stop. So what they started is they planned, and when she one day she was going to her NGO, to her workplace, they obstructed her on the way, and they had gang raped her. And Bhamri Devi was very scared of all these things. She went to court. It took too much long time in the court of law to get her justice. So after that, court has come up with the Vishakha guidelines, some of the guidelines which are called as Vishakha. Why it is called Vishakha? Because it is created by the, or initiated by an NGO named Vishakha, right? So Supreme Court of India, they have accepted all the guidelines given by the Vishakha, and these guidelines are called Vishakha guidelines. So in the absence of enacted law to provide for the effective enforcement of basic human rights of gender equality and guarantee against sexual harassment and abuse, we lay down the guidelines and norms specified hereinafter for due observance at all workplaces or other institutions until a legislation is enacted for this purpose. So as I already told you that we don't had any law related to sexual harassment at workplace previously. So these guidelines, which are provided by the NGO called Vishakha, so Supreme Court had accepted all the Vishakha guidelines until and unless there is an act related to protect the women working in the organizations. And it is further emphasized that this would be treated as the law declared by the court under Article 141 of the Constitution. The judgment of August 1997 provided the basic definitions of sexual harassment at the workplace and provided guidelines to deal with it. It is seen as a significant legal victory of women's group in India. So as these guidelines establish that sexual harassment violates a women's rights in the workplace and is thus not just a matter of personal injury. So if we treat a sexual harassment at workplace of a woman that it is a personal injury to that person, to that woman, it is not like that. Supreme Court states clearly that it is not a personal injury of a woman. It is an injury to the society, right? Because why? Because when any woman faces any kind of harassment, right, it affects the mental as well as physical wellness of a woman, which affects whole the society directly or indirectly. So by adopting the Vishakha guidelines and recommendations of Justice Verma Committee, the Parliament enacted the sexual harassment of workplace of women at workplace, which is Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act in 2013, right? The statute supersedes the Vishaka guidelines for prevention of sexual harassment introduced by the Supreme Court of India. The state statute expands to the whole of India, and it is only for the protection of women at workplace. So in preamble, if we talk about any act, we start from the preamble of the act. So an act to provide protection against sexual harassment of women at workplace, and for the prevention and redressal of complaints of sexual harassment, and for matters connected therein or incidental thereto, right? So basically this act is to provide protection against the sexual harassment of women at workplace, right? So workplace जो है उसको भी हम define करेंगे. We'll define workplace also कि what is workplace all about. Any place where any woman is working. See, if there is a maid coming to your home for the household jobs, that is workplace for that maid. And any sexual harassment of women at your home will be deemed as, will come under PoSH, right? So you must have heard about various cases such as one Shiny Ahuja case. Shiny Ahuja is a actor, and वो एक केस में फंसे थे कि उनकी जो मेड है, हाउस मेड है, he has done something wrong to her, and which comes under PoSH. So it is very evident that the act is working effectively. So what this act states is, no women shall be subjected to sexual harassment at any workplace. As I told you, workplace means any kind of workplace. For maid, it is your house, your home, where she is doing the household jobs. So understanding basics comes under what is sexual harassment, workplace, and who is aggrieved woman. Aggrieved woman is what? All working women or visiting any workplace, regular employee, maybe she is a temporary employee, maybe on ad hoc or on daily wages. All women, if they are visiting any workplace in any of the categories, will be deemed as aggrieved woman if there is anything wrong with her on any level of working. Second is engaged directly or indirectly, means if she is engaged directly to that workplace or she is hired through the contractor, even then she will be aggrieved woman if there is anything wrong done on the workplace. Working for remuneration voluntarily or otherwise, means if any working woman, if she is working for the remuneration, right, if she is paid, if she is doing voluntarily or otherwise, she will be deemed as aggrieved woman. It is no issue that she is working voluntarily. So if there is any wrong with her on the workplace, she will not be aggrieved woman. She have all the rights to go to the court of law under PoSH Act. Now next is terms of employment may be express or implied. She could be a co-worker, contract worker, probationer, trainee, apprentice or visitor. Also covers women working in dwelling place or house, right? So किसी भी तरह की अगर working woman है और उसके साथ जो भी उसका work place है वहां पर अगर कुछ भी गलत होता है, which can come under PoSH, she will be deemed as aggrieved women. Now what is workplace? As I already told you, yes please.
Sorry to disturb you. Please
Yeah.
use only English language, ma'am.
Okay, no issues. So workplace, as I already told you, that any kind of organization, any kind of home, any kind of office, off-site, on-site, anything, any workplace will be deemed as workplace. So we can see here, I had mentioned so many workplaces which will be included under PoSH Act. So any place visited by the employee arising out of or during the course of employment, including transportation provided by the employer, covers organized or unorganized sector, government organizations, private sector organizations, hospitals, nursing homes, sport institutions, facilities, dwelling or house, office parties, off-sites, outbounding trainings, client meetings, training sessions, travel for office purpose, any place where one visits in the course of due to employment. If any women is going outside the place, outside the workplace, at outstation, it will, if there is any wrong, it will be deemed as on the job, and that will come under PoSH only. Now, what is sexual harassment? Sexual harassment is bullying or coercion of a sexual nature, or unwelcoming or inappropriate promise of rewards in exchange of sexual favors. In most modern legal contexts, sexual harassment is illegal. Sexual harassment is gross violation of women's right to equality and dignity. Anything which is against equality of women, or which is against the dignity of the women, it comes under sexual harassment. Now, what sexual harassment is? So sexual harassment includes any one or more of the following unwelcoming acts or behavior, namely physical contact or and advances, or a demand or request of sexual favor, or sexually colored remarks, or showing pornography, or other offensive or derogatory pictures, cartoons, or any other unwelcoming physical, verbal, or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. So section 3 of the Act specifies that implied or explicit promise of preferential treatment in her employment, or implied or explicit threat on her employment, implied or explicit threat about her present or future employment status, or interference with her work, or creating an intimidating or offensive or hostile work environment for her, or humiliating treatment likely to affect her health or safety. All of these come under sexual harassment. Now, there are when we talk about sexual harassment, we can talk sexual harassment in various forms. As I already told you, that it can be of implied nature or explicit nature, or it can be about her terms of employment, or status of her status of employment, present status or future status, or it is any comment which is offensive in nature, right? Or maybe creating an hostile working environment wherein people are bullying a women worker. Everything will come under sexual harassment. So first is, if we talk about forms of workplace sexual harassment, first of all, we'll talk about quid pro quo. Quid pro quo का मतलब होता है this for that. I mean, taking some kind of favors for giving some or the other benefits, right? It implies or explicit promise for preferential detrimental treatment in employment, implied or express threat about her present or future employment status, right? See, quid pro quo means when any employer wants something, some favor from a women worker for giving some kind of preference to her, is quid pro quo. Means this for that. When you give something to me, I will give something else to you, right? This is called quid pro quo. Next is hostile working environment, which is creating hostile, intimidating, or an offensive work environment, humiliating treatment likely to affect her health and safety. So humiliating treatment means passing a kind of comments to the working women at your workplace, or sending some offensive pictures on SMS or on WhatsApp or on mail. Everything will come under this. So what sexual advances means? See, you can see the picture. There is one boss, and women worker is sitting doing some work, and we can specifically identify that boss came to the women worker, and tonight our little project team will do great work, isn't wanted, making sexual advances or demanding sexual favors, right? So this comes under sexual advances. Next is unsavory remarks. These kind of remarks, right? Singing embarrassing filmy songs. See, you can very well identify there is a boss or a male worker, and female worker is going passing through the passage, and the male worker is singing a derogatory song, right? This also comes under PoSH. See this. Jokes causing or likely to cause awkwardness or embarrassment, right? I mean, if there is a female worker and male workers are cracking jokes which cause awkwardness or embarrassment for the female worker, right? So this also comes under PoSH. Saying something which is discriminating, or saying something which look like as if you are taunting, right? You are just a woman, we need a man for this assignment. See, in various workplaces, we can see this kind of discrimination, wherein management of the organizations, they don't realize that women workers are also capable of doing things, and they discriminate on this basis. We can very well observe these kind of things in the organizations where women workers um, are not appointed as bosses, or they are not appointed they are not awarded as leadership positions. Why? Because of the same reason, right? Because what they think is that there are various obstacles in the working of the working women, and they cannot give their 100% to the organization, which is a myth. Now, you can see Indra Nui, you can see so many women workers, women leaders who are doing exceptionally well. So discriminating on the basis of gender, it is also comes under PoSH. Now, gender-based insults or sexist comments, remarks. See, you can see using gender-biased insults. Making babies is all you women are good for. See, there is a misconception in the minds of men workers or the organizations that women workers are not at all fit for the organizations or the leadership roles, right? But in present scenario, if we see, it is a myth now. So many women workers, so many women leaders are putting their 100% in their work, and they are giving 100% productivity, right? So if these kind of remarks are passed by the organization or anyone in the organization, this also comes under PoSH. Now, next is unwelcoming sexual overtones in any manner. See, when we talk about when we talk about sexual harassment, or when we talk about unwelcoming tones or unwelcoming comments, see, it is very normal in the organizations that we can observe these kind of things, wherein men workers or management of the organizations, they are making obscene gestures or using indecent language for the women workers, such as you are not capable of doing things, or you have certain other things to do, or you are not good at leadership, or you are not good at decision making, right? So these all kinds of language, these all kinds of gestures, they are not welcome, right? So basically gestures, when we talk, you can see, I'll tell you one incident wherein a woman having a small kid, she was working with the construction company, and in the time of I mean, lunchtime, they had a lunchtime of half an hour. So what that lady was doing is, she was feeding her child, right? And a men worker, he used to see to that women worker all the time when she used to fed her child. See, this also comes under unwelcoming, indecent gesture. So touching or brushing against any part of the body and the like, right? If any men worker or a male worker, he is touching any of the body part of the women worker, this also comes under sexual harassment, right? Hugging or touching, right? Of any body part. It is not allowed. Displaying pornographic or other offensive or derogatory pictures, cartoons, pamphlets, or sayings. See, in the era of IT, we can see that women workers are facing so many abusive mails or text or WhatsApp messages, pictures on WhatsApp messages, which can be very offensive or derogatory in nature, right? Any male worker is not every male worker is prohibited to do so. They cannot send any kind of pictures, or they cannot I mean, show any kind of this kind of pictures to the female worker, because this will be deemed as derogatory in nature, and which affects the dignity of the female worker. If any male worker do so, it will come under PoSH. Then forcible physical touch or molestation. As we all know, molestation comes under PoSH. Physical confinement against one's will and any other act likely to violate one's privacy. Anything which you are doing, which any male worker is doing to the female worker, which violates her privacy, right? This also comes under PoSH. Abuse of authority or power. Stop this or I'll complain. Then I'll stop your promotion. See the picture. You can very well understand this picture, wherein a male worker is touching the female's clothes, and female is saying that stop this, otherwise I'll complain to the management. And the person and the boss, he's replying, then I'll stop your promotion. See, that boss is interested in taking some advantage of his position, because he's a boss. He's, I mean, very well involved in the promotion of the female worker. So he wants to take some advantage. Means he's threatening. So threatening adverse consequences on raising objections or resisting advances. This also come under PoSH. Now, when we talk about workplace sexual harassment, it typically involves acts of which the victim has reasonable apprehension that they are humiliating, unsafe, unhealthy, discriminatory, career limiting, otherwise causing adverse circumstances. Means a workplace sexual harassment, all these issues are involved in workplace sexual harassment. If it is humiliating to the female worker, or it is unsafe for her, or it is unhealthy. In any unhealthy means not only physically, it also unhealthy involves physical plus mental wellness. So if it is affecting mental health of the women worker, any action of the male worker or male counterpart or the male boss, if it is creating mental issues to the work to the women, it will also dealt as it is unhealthy. If anything which is discriminatory in nature, because you are discriminating a women worker only because of the reason that she is a female, it comes under sexual harassment. Now, sexual harassment is a serious criminal offense under IPC. So if we see IPC, we'll see there we have so many sections under IPC which creates creates a seriousness, and which held PoSH Act under criminal offense. So under section 354 of IPC, assault or criminal force to women with intent or outrage her modesty. This means at every workplace, every male counterpart of the female worker, they have to respect the modesty of the women workers, right? If they violate the rule, it comes under 354 of IPC. 354 also force the assault or criminal force to women with intent to outrage her modesty. 354A speaks about physical contact and advances involving unwelcome and explicit sexual outbursts, or a demand of request for sexual favors, or showing pornography against the will of a woman, or making sexually colored remarks. These all come under section 354 of IPC. Other than this, section 294 speaks about obscene acts and songs. Anything which is derogatory in nature. Any song, if male counterpart at the workplace, if he is singing any derogatory song which is against the modesty of the women workers, or which is absolutely derogatory in nature, this comes under section 294. Under section 509, word, gestures, or act intended to insult the modesty of a woman. Any kind of word you are speaking, or any gesture you are showing, or any act you are doing, means any male counterpart of the female worker, if they are speaking something, or they are acting something, or their gestures are like that, they are derogatory for the modesty of the women, this all comes under section 509. Section 354B speaks about the assault or use of criminal force to women with intent to disrobe. इसके अलावा other than this, stalking also come under PoSH Act. Stalking, you all know, if any male is following you on your way, or they are stalking, they are steering you at your workplace from your seat, from his seat to your seat, right? If they are steering you regularly, continuously, then again it comes under PoSH. Now, who is responsible and accountable for prevention? And what is the role of workplace in prohibiting, and how? So basically, if we talk about PoSH, it is the duty of the employer to create a workplace free of sexual harassment. If there is any case of sexual harassment at the workplace, the employer is equally liable for the issue. The employer shall create and communicate a detailed policy. As we all know that it is now very important from the court of law that every organization has to create their policy related to PoSH, as well as they have to create awareness among their employees related to PoSH Act. So if you have some idea about PoSH, all the organizations, they are creating awareness related to PoSH in the organizations. Every organization has to have give training related to PoSH every year in the organizations. It is mandatory now. If organizations are not giving these kind of trainings to the employees, they are liable for the under the law, right? So they have to ensure that they are creating awareness in the organization every other year. So it is the duty of the employer to create and communicate a detailed policy, ensure awareness and orientation on the issue, constitute complaints committee, ensure that the complaints committee is trained in skill and capacity, prepare annual report to be submitted to the DO, reports in the director's report. Now, what is ICC and LCC? Basically, ICC is Internal Complaints Committee. As you all know, I had already told you that every organization has to organize one PoSH training sessions every year in the organization, wherein they have to ensure the presence of all the employees, so that every employee, maybe it male or female, they should know what are the rights of female workers and what are the limits. And I'll not say that every time male workers are wrong, but they should have the awareness, they should have the knowledge that what all comes under PoSH. So for that, it is the duty of the employer to create awareness about all these things, that what all actions comes under PoSH. So when they all male employees are aware about all the PoSH Act, then only we can ensure that we can prevent any kind of PoSH Act in our organization. So ICC is Internal Complaints Committee, wherein if there is any PoSH kind of thing in the organization takes place with any female, any female worker, she can complain in an Internal Complaints Committee. So in Internal Complaints Committee, members to hold office for a term not exceeding for 3 years. When we constitute an ICC, it will be constituted for 3 years. ICC is for each branch offices if there are multiple. If in any organization has multiple branches in so many cities, they have to constitute ICC for every office or every branch distinctly. That means one central ICC will not work. Every other branch has a distinct ICC. The functions of ICC is to educate and sensitize employee about the issue and to address the complaint, conduct inquiry, etc. So if you have one centralized ICC, it will not serve the purpose. Every office of your organization or every branch of your organization should have a distinct ICC. Again, it operates a quasi-judicial body with powers to summon and enforce attendance, and they can call for evidence, and they can collect all the documents as per their own choices, right? So basically, ICC is a is a quasi-judicial body. It is not a fully judicial body, but it is a quasi-judicial body which is having powers to send the summons to the male counterparts. They can enforce the attendance if they require. They can call people for the evidences, for their explanations. Hello? 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 Are you saying something?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Should I carry on?
Yeah.
Any issues?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So now we talk about internal complaints committee, which constitutes maximum of the women worker. Basically, when we talk about ICC, 50% of the officials of the ICC should be women. In that, we'll have a chairman who is a woman working in your organization at a senior level as an employee. Other than that, we have 2 members from amongst the employees committed to the cause of women, having legal knowledge or experience in social work. And we have 1 member from NGO or associations committed to the cause of women, or a person familiar with the issue of sexual harassment. If offices are located at different places, each place needs to have an ICC. I had already told you that if any organization has different branches on different places, right, or they have a different branches on one place only. If we talk about, say, let's say Mumbai, it's a very big city. So if your organization has 2 branches or 3 branches in Mumbai itself, every branch should have a distinct ICC. One ICC will not solve the purpose. If you have one ICC, and if there is any issue in the organization, and if that issue goes to the court of law, then you will be held responsible for not framing different ICCs at different locations, right, as an employer. Now, LCC. Basically, LCC, when we talk about LCC, it is on a local, it's a local complaints committee, and it's on a district level. So what is the efficacy of LCC when there is any complaint in ICC, and ICC is not able to sort out the issue will go to the LCC. And if furthermore, if there is any complaint, see, let's suppose if there is any complaint against the employer himself, then what? Will you go to the ICC? Will it serve the purpose? No, because that person is the ultimate boss, right? And you cannot provide justice to that women worker with whom he had made some wrong, some sexual crime. So these kind of crimes will go directly to the LCC, which is on a district level. And there we have a again, in this LCC also, we have 50% members should always be women. So the constitution of the committee will be as there is a one chairman who is a eminent woman in the field of social work and committed to the cause of women. Sorry, when there is a member nominated from among the women working in the block or tehsil or ward, right, which is nominated by the official authorities. Other than those, we have 2 members from amongst the employees committed to the cause of women, having legal knowledge, experience in social work. And one is ex officio member, the concerned officer dealing with social welfare of women and child development in the district. So this is the constitution of LCC, wherein all the complaints related to highest authorities of the organizations can be done directly by the women. Now, complaint committee should be thoroughly prepared, know the act, policy, or relevant service rules, gather and record all relevant information, determine the main issues in the complaint, prepare relevant interview questions, conduct necessary interviews. Basically, what ICC is doing is they are getting, if they get any complaint, what they do is they function like a court of law, wherein they prepare the case thoroughly by determining the issue, gathering all the relevant information, um, 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 preparing all the interviews, right? Preparing all the issues in complaints, arranging the interviews, arranging the processes, right? Gathering all the information. After all, gathering all the information, they have to analyze the information, that what the basic issue is. Now, what you what you need to do is, as a quasi judicial body, you need to fix the issue. What the issue exactly is, right? Whether there is maybe there is a fake complaint. So as an ICC, you need to gather all the information, get all the reports prepared, get all the information from all the relevant people, right? Maybe a complainant, maybe a person who is who has done the wrong, right? Everybody will be questioned, everybody will be inquired, everybody will be interviewed, and all the records will be checked, and then an issue will be fixed. Then what they have to do is, after analyzing all the information, they have to prepare the findings, they have to recommend that what should be done, and internal complaint committee or LCC, both of them have to maintain confidentiality. So it is very important for all the members of ICC or LCC that they have to behave very maturely. They have to mature enough to maintain the confidentiality of the process. They have to be impartial, and they have to be clinical. Clinical means they have to be able to understand what the issues are and how those issues can be sorted out, right? Now, basically, when we talk about PoSH, as I already told you in the very beginning, that education and awareness is the key. So that is why I was telling about that every organization, it is made important, it is made essential by the court of law to give PoSH training in all the organizations every year, to create awareness among the employees and to educate them. Maybe it male worker or maybe it female worker, right? As I had already told you that sometimes male workers do certain things unknowingly. So that is why it is very important to educate them all and to give them an awareness that where is the line which they have to maintain. So who can make the complaint? If there is any kind of PoSH act in the organization, any women who is aggrieved women can make a complaint. If in case of mental incapacity, right? In case of mental incapacity, we can see various cases wherein the women, they are not mentally stable and they are affected by the sexual harassment, right? I had seen with my own eyes so many women who are mentally retarded or who are not mentally fit. They are getting these kind of harassments, right? So the women herself can complain to the ICC or the LCC, or in case of any mental incapacity, her relatives, her friends, her educator, any qualified psychiatrist or psychologist can complain, any guardian under whom she is receiving care, any person who has information about the incident with written consent of any of the above. All of these people are liable to complaint in ICC or LCC, or else they can directly go to the court of law. As we all know that ICC and LCC are quasi-judicial bodies. They are not judicial bodies. So if they think, if any of them think, they can directly approach to the court of law. Now, how we can file a complaint? The complaint should be filed in 6 copies by the aggrieved person. It should contain all the material and relevant details concerning the alleged sexual harassment, which includes the name of contravenor, the complainant, date on which she has faced any kind of harassment, the time, location. See, time, location, date, working relationship, names and addresses of witnesses, if there is any. These all things are very, very relevant factors under PoSH, because you need to tell what the location was where you faced this harassment. What was the time? What was the date, right? And what are the relationship between the parties? Then only it will be easier for the judicial bodies to fix the issue, right? When I'm saying that there is some sexual harassment with some women worker, right? So what was the date? What was the time? What was the location? If you say that some female worker has been harassed sexually at the workplace only, in the working hours, right? So what you need to do is you need to tell all the time, all the relevant facts, right? Names and addresses of witnesses. See, if you have faced any harassment at your workplace, right? So there must be some people who are witness. You can give their names as well, their addresses as well, so that it will be easier for the authorities to fix the issue. They can cross all the things, right? So the complaint mechanism, on receiving such a complaint, the chairperson will inform other members of committee at the earliest possible, and committee will take further steps in the matter as required. The first meeting to be held immediately within reasonable time, but not later than 7 working days of receiving the written complaint of the aggrieved. As and when a women worker complains about the PoSH, the ICC or LCC, they have to held with a meeting within the 7 working days of the complaint, so that, I mean, the basic purpose is to ensure a faster action against PoSH. The ICC shall investigate the complaint and submit its reports containing the findings, recommendations, along with relevant documents. In conducting inquiry, a minimum of 3 members of complaints committee, including chairperson, to be present. Means when as and when we are going in with the meeting, minimum 3 members of ICC or LCC should be present in the meeting. Now the timelines which ICC or LCC have to follow is submission of complaint within 3 months of the incident. Means any women worker can file her complaint under PoSH within the 3 months of the incident. Now, notice to the respondent within 7 days of receiving copy of the complaint. Means as and when complaint committee receives the complaints within the 7 days, they have to send a notice to the respondent that whatever complaint they have received against that respondent. Submission of report by ICC, LCC to employer within 10 days of completion of inquiry. That means first of all, ICC or LCC, they have received a complaint. They have to send a copy to the respondent within the 7 days. Then they have to complete their inquiry within the 10 days. And then they have to send their reports up, when they have to conduct an inquiry, and that inquiry should be completed within the 90 days. That means they have been given 3 months to conclude the inquiry, and after the conclusion of the inquiry, they have to send their reports to ICC or LCC, whatsoever is the case, within the 10 days of the completion of the inquiry. And within 60 days, the recommendations should be implemented within the organization. Whatever recommendations they have, the ICC or the LCC, they have proposed, it should be implemented within 60 days. And if the respondent is not satisfied with the recommendations given by the ICC or LCC, he can go to the higher authorities. He can appeal within 90 days of the recommendations. Now, confidentiality, as I had already told you, that it is very, very important, very, very crucial to maintain the confidentiality of the process going on under the PoSH. The Act prohibits the disclosure of contents of the complaint, that whatever complaint has been received by the female worker, the committee has to maintain the confidentiality of the contents of the complaint. Other than that, they have to maintain confidentiality of the identity and addresses of complainant, respondent, and witnesses as well. See, witnesses play a vital role in the inquiry part. If committee disclose the identity of the witnesses, right, the witnesses may not be able to give their point of view on the complaints, right? They can be threatened by the respondent. So it is very important to maintain the confidentiality of witnesses as well. Then information pertaining to conciliatory inquiry proceedings or recommendations of the ICC and LCC, whatsoever inquiry has been done, what are the witnesses are all about, what the information, what are the information they have gathered, right? Everything should be made confidential. And finally, what action by the employer has to be taken, it should also be made confidential by the ICC and LCC. Consequences, if there is any breach of confidentiality on the part of ICC or the LCC, as per the service rules, rupees 5,000 should to be collected by the employer. So that is all from my side. Sakshi?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Sakshi.
Thank you, ma'am. So thank you so much for this very nice session. If anyone has any question,
Any
you ask.
queries? Yeah.
I think no one have any question, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so much all the participants for your active participation. Let me inform to all that this complete session will available on a Research Circle YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it again or want to share it somebody, please do visit the Research Circle YouTube channel. Thanks. And last but not the least, thank you, Dr. Kokila Saxena ma'am, for
Hello, thank you, Sakshi. Thank you for having me here and giving me this opportunity to talk about PoSH Act. And I'm sure so many people have got the information regarding PoSH. And if you have any queries, you can contact me as well on my mail. It is with the Research Circle. If you all want, I can give my mail ID. It is coke.asthana@gmail.com. You can very well connect to me on my mail. And thank you, Research Circle, for giving me this opportunity. I'm hoping more sessions in future on various topics. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you all the participants for your active participation. Let me inform to all this. This complete session will available on a Research Circle YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it again or want to share it somebody, please do visit the Research Circle YouTube channel. And thanks. And last but not the least, thank you, Dr. Kokila Saxena ma'am, for taking our time for session. With our permission, I would like to end today's session here, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.